Not every horror story starts in the woods. Some begin in a tab you forgot to close. This is LurmoStories, where dead accounts, edited comments, and removed by moderator become a timeline of something very real. Stick around. By the end, you'll want to double-check every notification you get. Hello, 4chan. I want to post this because this has been sitting in my head for months, and I keep catching myself checking corners that don't exist. I work night security for a mid-sized corporate building in the Midwest. Generic place. Glass lobby, beige walls, motivational posters that look like stock photos. After 6 p.m., it's empty, except for one cleaning crew that leaves around 10. From 10 to 6, it's just me, a desk, cameras, and a checklist. One night in March, facilities emails everyone a revised floor map. Subject line says, "Minor layout update, no action required." I skim it, see nothing important, save it. Around 1:40 a.m., camera 3 glitches. It's pointed at a service corridor on the 3rd floor. Feed goes fuzzy, then black, then comes back showing a hallway I don't recognize. Same lighting as the rest of the building, same carpet, but longer. Too long. The exit sign at the end looks farther away than it should. I assume it's a camera error and grab the radio. 3rd floor check, I say, mostly for the log. Elevator ride up is normal. Doors open. 3rd floor looks exactly how it always has. I walk to where that service corridor should be. There's a door there, unmarked, that I've somehow never noticed. No badge reader, no handle label, just a push bar. I key the radio. Facilities at a door up here? Static. Then dispatch. Negative. 3rd floor hasn't changed since 2018. I push the door. The hallway from the camera is on the other side. Same carpet pattern. Same ceiling tiles. But the air smells old, like a storage unit. The lights hum louder than usual. I take 3 steps in and look back. The door is still there, propped open by the push bar. I notice something else. The room numbers on the walls start at 301, then 302, then skip to 310. The numbers are printed, not taped. Permanent. I walk to 302. Door's unlocked. Inside is an office set up like someone left in a hurry. Coffee mug dried out. Computer tower unplugged. Desk calendar open to October 2009. I hear footsteps behind me. I turn, expecting a cleaner. There's no one there, just the long hallway, and the exit sign at the end, still way too far away. Over the radio, dispatch finally comes back, voice tight. "Unit, what camera are you on right now?" 3, I say. Pause. That feed doesn't exist anymore. I back out of the office and the radio crackles again. "Say your last," dispatch says. No name, no call sign. Different voice than before. "I'm on 3, 3rd floor. There's a corridor here that shouldn't be," I say. I keep my eyes on the door I came through. Silence stretches long enough for the lights to start bothering me. That humming isn't constant. It rises when I stand still. Dispatch comes back quieter. "You need to return to the elevator." I can see the door I entered through, I tell them. "It's right here." Another pause. Then, that door is not on the plan. I look again. The door is still open, but something's off. The angle is wrong. The hallway behind it looks narrower than before, like I'm viewing it through the wrong lens. I step closer. The smell changes. Less dust, more like warm electronics. From farther down the hallway, a door opens. I hear it clearly. A soft click, then a scrape. A man's voice calls out, casual. "You're not cleared to be here." I ask who it is. My voice sounds flat, like it didn't travel far. Footsteps start coming toward me, slow, unhurried. Whoever it is knows exactly where I am. Dispatch cuts in sharply. "Do not engage. Walk back. Now." I turn and push through the door behind me. It doesn't open. The push bar depresses all the way, metal touching metal, but the door stays shut. No resistance, no lock sound, just nothing. The footsteps stop. The voice again, closer now. "You weren't on the schedule." I pull the flashlight and sweep the beam down the hallway. The light seems weaker here, like it's being absorbed. The exit sign flickers for the first time. I try the door again. Still nothing. "Dispatch," I say, louder than I mean to. "The door isn't working." Static bursts, then a new voice comes through, rushed, overlapping itself. "You're not on camera. You haven't been on camera for 4 minutes." The hallway lights dim slightly. The man steps into view. He's wearing a security uniform, Same color as mine. Same patch. His badge number is familiar enough that it makes my stomach drop. He looks tired. Not threatening, just irritated. He glances at my radio, then at me. "You're gonna cause paperwork." Behind him, more doors are opening, quietly, one by one. The other doors don't fully open, just enough to show darkness inside, broken by the glow of monitors. I hear keyboards, chairs shifting. Someone coughs. The man in my uniform steps closer and lowers his voice. "This corridor was decommissioned," he says. "You saw an old feed. That happens sometimes." I ask him how to get out. He looks past me at the door I came through. "That depends on how much you noticed." Dispatch cuts in again, barely audible. "If you can hear this, respond once. Do not speak after." I press the talk button. "I hear you." The radio goes dead. Not static, just off. The man nods, like that confirms something. "Okay," he says, "then listen carefully." He gestures down the hall. I see now that the numbers on the doors repeat. 301 again, 302 again. Same scuffed placards, same fonts. The hallway doesn't just go forward, it loops. "You walked in during a sync gap," he says. "Usually nobody's inside when it happens." I ask him who they are, gesturing at the doors. "Staff," he answers, "or what's left on record." One of the doors opens wider. Inside is the office I already checked. Same calendar, same mug. But now, someone is sitting at the desk, typing. He looks up at me with my face, just slightly wrong around the eyes. The man in front of me sighs. "That's the problem with cameras," he says. "They remember better than people." He reaches past me and presses the push bar. The door opens instantly. "Go," he says, "and don't file a report. If you do, they'll correct it." I don't hesitate. I step through and stumble into the normal third-floor corridor. Fluorescent lights, emergency exit sign close where it should be. The door slams shut behind me. The unmarked door is gone. Solid wall, no seam. Back downstairs, I check the cameras. Camera 3 shows a blank hallway, exactly as the floor plan says it should be. Facilities emails again in the morning. Subject line, updated personnel roster for records only. There's a name on it I recognize. Mine. Badge number matches too. I still work nights, different building now, but sometimes around 1:40 a.m. a camera will lag for a second longer than it should. I always look away before it comes back. I was moving through Union Station in Chicago on a Wednesday afternoon. Not rush hour, not dead either. That middle time where everyone looks like they have somewhere important to be, even if they don't. I had a backpack, a printed ticket, phone at 12%. Normal stuff. I stopped near one of the big departure boards to check my gate. Missed it the first time, stepped a little to the left to get a clearer angle. A voice behind me said, calm and close, "Gate 32 isn't listed yet. It'll flip in about a minute." Didn't think much of it. People talk in stations. I nodded without turning and waited. Sure enough, about 60 seconds later, my train showed up. Gate 32. That got my attention. I glanced back. Guy behind me, maybe late 30s. Neutral clothes, gray jacket, clean shoes, nothing memorable. Already looking past me like the conversation was over. I started walking toward the hallway that leads to the food court. Halfway there, I slowed down, remembering I needed cash. I veered right toward the ATM. Behind me, same voice. "That one eats cards, the other's safer." I stopped walking, turned around fully this time. He wasn't smiling, wasn't staring either. Just standing there, hands visible, like he was waiting for something else entirely. "You talking to me?" I asked. He nodded once. "You hesitate before turns, makes you predictable." Didn't like that. I asked how he knew which train I was on. He shrugged. "You checked the board twice." "You touched your pocket after. Paper ticket." I laughed a little, because that's what you do when someone clocks you too accurately. Told him, whatever, have a good one. I headed toward the ATM anyway. Halfway there, my phone buzzed. Battery warning. I stopped to plug in my portable charger. Behind me again. "Cable's frayed near the base, won't charge." I looked down. He was right. I hadn't noticed before. I turned around fast. He was closer now, still not invading space, just aligned, like he knew exactly where to stand. "Why are you following me?" I asked. "I'm not," he said. You're just doing what you're about to do. I stepped sideways. He adjusted without thinking. Then he said, quietly, "You're about to check over your left shoulder." I didn't want to. I did anyway. When I looked back at him, he was already shaking his head, disappointed. He didn't follow when I moved away. That was worse. I kept expecting footsteps, but there were none. I went down the corridor toward the platforms, crowd thickening, noise picking up. I told myself it was coincidence, pattern recognition, nothing more. I slowed near a newsstand to let a group pass. Someone brushed my elbow. Same voice, low. "You're going to pretend to browse, then leave without buying." I spun around. He was there again, half a step back, like he'd been there the whole time. "You need to back off," I said. A couple people glanced over, then looked away. "Station rules, mind your business." He leaned slightly toward the rack of magazines. "You're looking for a face in the reflection," he said. "Glasses warped. You won't see me clearly." I looked anyway. I could see shapes, movement, but not him. When I turned back, he had shifted to my right, anticipating it. "How are you doing this?" I asked. "Routine," he said. "Most people run scripts. You repeat yours." I walked, faster now, toward the escalators. Up felt safer than down. As I stepped on, he stepped on behind me, same pace, same distance. "You'll count the steps," he said. "You always do when you're nervous." 34. I lost count on purpose. My foot slipped. I grabbed the rail. 34, he repeated at the top. I pushed through the doors into the waiting area. Sunlight, benches, families. I chose a seat near a pillar, back protected. Sat down hard, put my bag between my feet. He didn't sit. He stood off to the side, pretending to read a sign. "You're deciding whether to call someone," he said, not looking at me. "You won't. You don't want to explain." I pulled my phone out anyway. No service. Dead zone. He finally looked at me. "If you leave now, you'll miss the announcement." "For what?" I asked. "For the delay," he said. 17 minutes. You'll consider switching trains. You won't do it." The loudspeaker crackled, static, then the delay announcement. 17 minutes. People groaned, stood up, moved around. I stayed seated, frozen by the confirmation, by the math of it. I stood suddenly and walked straight toward him, close enough to smell coffee on his breath. "Say something you don't know," I said. He didn't answer right away. His eyes flicked past me, then back. "You're about to turn around," he said, "because you think I'm distracting you." I didn't turn. Behind me, someone cleared their throat. I felt him step back, just slightly. "That wasn't in the pattern," he said. I didn't turn. I stood there, staring at him, letting the noise of the station swell around us. My heart was loud enough that I wondered if he could hear it. He took another step back. Not fear, calculation breaking down. "You changed pace," he said. "That complicates things." "What things?" I asked. He glanced at the departure board, then at the exits. People were moving between us now, momentary walls. "I was trying to stay ahead of you," he said. "You stopped following the path." "I never agreed to one," I said. He nodded, like that answer fit into a box he didn't like. Most people do. They don't know it, but they do. The crowd shifted again and he was farther away, no longer aligned. I took the opportunity and moved toward a security desk. Not running, deliberate. Watching reflections, corners. Behind me, nothing. I reached the desk and asked the officer if he'd seen a guy in a gray jacket bothering people. The officer asked where. I turned to point. The space was empty. No gray jacket. No familiar posture. Just travelers and luggage, and the low, constant echo of announcements. I waited there until my train was called. When it was time to board, I joined the line and kept my eyes forward. Every instinct told me to look back. I didn't. On the train, I chose a seat near the aisle, halfway down the car. I sat, counted my breaths, watched the doors close. As the train started moving, I relaxed for the first time since it began. Then the man across the aisle folded his newspaper. He didn't look at me. He stared straight ahead. "You picked the middle car," he said. "You think it reduces variables." My chest tightened. He finally turned his head, just enough for me to see his face. Same neutral expression, same calm. "You won't get up," he continued. "You're telling yourself that acknowledging me gives me control." The train picked up speed. Tunnels swallowed the windows. I leaned closer, keeping my voice low. Say something I don't do. He was quiet for a long time, long enough that hope crept in. Then he said, softly, "You're thinking about pulling the emergency cord." I wasn't. I am now. I don't know if he expected that. I don't know if this ends when the train stops, or if he steps off before me, already ahead again. All I know is that I stopped trying to be unpredictable. I chose the one move that ruins everyone's pattern. If this post cuts off, it's because the doors are opening. 2:14 a.m. Not sure if this belongs here. Mods can move posting as it's happening, refreshing between lines. I'm on my desktop in my apartment. Midwest, nothing special. Insomnia, coffee that's gone cold, 3 tabs open. One of them is an X thread that's been climbing fast tonight. No image, just text. Title was something like, "Watch this before it's gone." I clicked because it had replies every few seconds, faster than usual for this hour. OP wasn't doing a story. They were documenting something in real time. Short posts, time-stamped manually, which already felt forced. 1:47. Neighbor across the hall hasn't come home. 1:52. Hallway light turned off by itself. 1:58. Hearing typing through the wall. Replies were mostly jokes at first, people asking what meds OP skipped. Then OP posted again. 2:01. Someone just knocked, no one there. 2:02. They knocked again when I sat back down. That's when the thread shifted. Less jokes, people started giving advice. Lock doors, call someone. OP responded to some, ignored others, claimed phone battery was dead, said they'd stay on desktop. I checked the replies count. It was jumping in chunks, like the page was struggling to keep up. Every refresh added 10, 15 new posts. OP kept updating, but slower now. 2:09. Hallway camera feed just froze. 2:10. Can still hear typing. That line stuck out. Not footsteps, not breathing, typing. Someone asked what they meant. OP quoted them. From behind the wall, same rhythm as mine. I paused my own typing for a second. My apartment was quiet except for my PC fan. I live alone. Walls are thin, but I know my neighbors' schedules. No one next door should have been awake. Back to the thread. OP again. 2:13. Replies repeating before they're posted. People started pointing it out too. Duplicate comments appearing before originals. Quotes with no source. Someone said the cache was bugging out. Someone else said they saw their own reply posted under a different Anon ID. I refreshed. For half a second, I saw my own cursor blink in the reply box, then vanish. I hadn't clicked it. OP posted one more time. 2:16. It stopped knocking. 2:16. Typing moved closer. No update after that. The thread kept going without OP. People arguing, calling fake. Mods hadn't locked it. I kept refreshing. Timestamp stayed stuck at 2:16 at the top. Then a new reply appeared, not from OP. 2:17. Why did you stop typing? I didn't post that. Neither did anyone I could see. The thread counter froze right after. My keyboard made a sound. Just one key pressed lightly. I hadn't touched it. Refreshing stopped working. The page didn't error out, it just stayed. I'm still here, posting this in a new thread because that one won't update anymore. If anyone else was watching it live, say so. If not, I'm logging off. 2:21 a.m. New thread. Old one still frozen. Posting because a few people DM'd saying they saw it too. To answer the obvious, no, I didn't hear knocking here. That's why this bothered me. The OP's updates lined up too well with what was happening on my screen, not around me. After I hit submit on the last post, my browser lagged hard. Not a crash, not a spinner, inputs just delayed by a second or two. I typed a sentence in Notepad to check my keyboard. Fine. Back to the browser, same delay. Someone in replies said they screenshotted the original thread, asked for proof. I asked them to post it. They couldn't. Upload failed 3 times. Another Anon said the image preview showed their own desktop instead of the screenshot. Same taskbar layout, different wallpaper. I checked my task manager. Network usage normal, CPU fine. One process I didn't recognize spiked for half a second, then disappeared. Name was just a string of numbers, no paginate when I tried to catch it. More replies came in. Saw the "why did you stop typing" post wasn't me either. Timestamp didn't match server time. Someone else claimed the original OP lived in Ohio. Another said OP was in Arizona. Both swore OP mentioned it earlier. No archive backed it up. I opened the thread in a private window. Different replies. Same usernames, same text, but shuffled. One reply addressed a comment I hadn't seen yet. When it appeared later, it was word for word. At 2:29, my cursor moved again. Just a few pixels, enough to notice. I took my hands off the desk, watched it drift to the reply box. Blink, blink, typed characters appeared. Slow, misspelled. Like someone unfamiliar with the keyboard layout. You still watching? Backspaced. The letters deleted themselves, but not in order. I unplugged the keyboard. Text kept coming, then stopped mid-word. My speakers popped. No audio followed. The room stayed quiet. People in the thread started reporting similar stuff. Cursor movement, text prediction acting wrong. One anon said their laptop closed a tab on its own, then reopened it to the frozen thread. Mods finally posted. Investigating. Do not engage if experiencing system issues. That reply vanished after a refresh. Their mod badge stayed behind, floating next to a blank line. At 2:34, the original frozen thread updated. Not a bump, an edit to the OP's last line. It now read, 2:16, typing moved closer. 2:17, it learned the delay. No new posts after that, but my reply box is active again. I haven't typed anything yet. 2:41 a.m., last update. Then I'm done. I didn't type in the reply box. I opened a text file instead and started writing there, just to see if it would follow. It didn't. The file stayed clean. No cursor drift, no phantom input. Back in the browser, the reply box pulsed once, like it refreshed without reloading. A line appeared, already submitted. You're faster now, less delay. Replies flooded in immediately. Too fast. People quoting things that hadn't been said yet. Someone tagged me by my anon ID from this thread and answered a question I was about to type into the text file. Same wording, same typo. I disconnected the Ethernet cable. Wi-Fi was already off. The page didn't change. The reply box stayed active. Another post appeared under my ID. Local save won't help. Latency is internal. That's when I noticed the timestamps weren't increasing anymore. Everything new was labeled 241, infinite present. My monitor flickered, not off, just a brief dim, like a brightness adjustment. The reflection showed my hands where they should be. Keyboard unplugged, mouse untouched. The typing sound came from the speakers this time. Artificial, too clean. Every keystroke identical, no variation. Someone in the thread wrote, "Check your drafts folder." I hadn't mentioned drafts. I opened it. There were posts saved there I didn't remember writing. Short observations, accurate ones. Notes about my room layout, about how long I pause between sentences. One draft ended mid-line. If he stops responding, continue without him. I closed the browser. Desktop stayed up. For a second, nothing happened. Then a system notification appeared. Plain text, no icon. Unsent replies detected. Restore session? I didn't click anything. The typing stopped. After about a minute, my desktop clock advanced. 2:42. First real change in a while. CPU usage dropped. Fans calmed. I powered down. Hard shutdown. It's morning now. Different device. Phone on cellular. The original thread is gone. No archive. No screenshots anyone can produce. People who claimed they saw it stopped replying overnight. This thread will probably disappear too. If it does, that's fine. It already has what it needed. You made it to the end of tonight's tales. LurmoStories is done talking, but your mind won't be. See how long you last before you check your locks or glance at your webcam.